The format of this one is usually what makes this a little tricky for students. So what I'm asking for is basically the common denominator. Assume that these are fractions, like 1/4 and whether we're adding or subtracting or whatever, 1/6. So the idea is what would be the common denominator, and 24 would be that magic number because you'd multiply this side by 6 and this side by 4 and so on. So what we're asking in this question is what's the common denominators that are found in this. So in this case it's just 4 and 6. You could use 24. You could actually also use 12, which is it's the lowest common denominator in this case. So here, because there's a 4 and a 3, 12 would be that part of it. You have an x squared and an x, so x squared would be the lowest thing that could be common in both. So in other words, if you were 4x squared, you had the other side was 3x, and this was our situation, we would multiply this side by a 3 top and bottom, and this side we would multiply by a 4x top and bottom to make this guy our lowest common denominator. Here in the next one, this is a connected item, and so actually 4x minus 1 will just be our lowest common denominator, just the multiplication of the two of them. Again, just think about it this way: 1 over x minus 1, 1 over 4. If you're trying to add these things, you need this thing over here, so you're going to multiply this side by x minus 1, and you need the 4 over here, so you would multiply top and bottom by the 4, and this is the common denominator. In the last case, we see 3x minus 5 on one side and 3x on the other. Now in this case, I see the 3 match up. I need an x minus 5, so I would multiply both sides by an x minus 5. And I also have an x, so I'd need to multiply both sides by x. So I think the lowest, simplest denominator would be this guy right here. So sometimes it's just as simple as multiplying the two numbers together, but if there are things already established, like the 3's here, you don't need to make it 9. You can use just the 3 as it is. So all this was trying to establish is the idea of if you're just given two things like x minus 1 and 3x, and you need to add these together, well, your common denominator is going to be x minus 1 and a 3x, because that would be a combination of all of those things. And so to do that, over here you'd multiply this by 3x top and bottom, and over here you'd multiply by x minus 1 top and bottom to do it. So this is just the early workings of how to find a common denominator between things that don't look very easily to make common denominators. Don't look very easy to make common denominators.